joining us. We saw Joe Bernal take down Brad Nelson, I think, all the way back in round 3.
Yep.
Joe is still Brad's only loss of the tournament. Joe's Rakdos aggro deck is definitely aggro. It's playing a 4 Bump in the Night, all in the main deck. It's really, actually, I think, in a lot of ways, similar to Black-Red Zombies from a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
What it's done differently is it's running Rakdos Cackler, so it has even more 1-drops.
Yep, he's got even more 1-drops, which kind of takes the burn out of his Rakdos Guild Gates, and they also help to complement the burn potential of Bump in the Night.
Both players wasting no time. Andrew Shrout leads off on a Plains into Champion of the Parish, probably the best start for his deck, and Job responds with a Swamp into Diregraph Ghoul.
Yeah. Andrew's deck came packed to beat zombies. He's got 4 Knight of Glory in the main deck and 3 Elite Inquisitor to go with them.
All in the main. This should be a very difficult matchup for Joe. Andrew makes a turn 2 Knight of Glory and swings for 3 with Champion of the Parish. Yeah, this seems like he's going to have a really hard time with this matchup.
Yep.
Diregraph Ghoul and Rakdos Cackler. Diregraph Ghoul is unleashed. Really, that's probably the only way. It's the only way it comes. You don't ever not unleash it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Cackler's pretty much always coming into play with that 1 counter, unless you just need a block for a turn to live, which I could imagine coming up in Zombie Mirrors, probably significantly less frequently against humans.
Sure. So Andrew Shrout's going to shock himself for a Hallowed Fountain on turn 3.
And that means he's got the Elite Inquisitor.
So we have a pro-zombies guy and a pro-black guy, and this is game 1.
Oh, and a War Falcon. That's not very nice.
Alright, so Knight of Glory, not running the blocks. No, it's going to swing in. That's for a full 5 damage, dropping Joe to 12.
If you're Joe, what are you actually thinking about this board? Aren't you just like, really?
I'm just laughing in my head. It's like, this was bound to happen, I suppose. Joe shocked himself down to 10 with Blood Crypt. And alright, we're going to start searing with a Searing Spear for the Elite Inquisitor. Joe has another one for the Knight of Glory. He's going to swing for 6, knocking Shrout down to 12. Unless
he blocks with the War Falcon.
He could trade with the War Falcon.
I think a trade's fine for him here, because it's not like Joe's going to win this game going long, probably.
Playing fair, Joe's not really winning. Well, at the same part, Joe's at 10. Joe's given you an option here to counter swing for 7. I mean, I guess you're not too worried about your... Yeah, he's going to take it all. And bump him.
Yep.
So, the 6th, then followed by 9, drops Andrew down to 9. And maybe he just has the win here. That is
Ajani with a double strike on the champion.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, or if you just have the win, you're like, yeah, that's fine. I won't block, you know.
Yeah, I agree with his logic on not blocking when he has lethal. Joe's gonna give a...
Yes, you did. You might have just gotten turned forward there.
Give Ajani a quick read. Double check that math. Yeah, that's 10.
And send all your things are tapped. No gut shot. All right.
Yeah.
I like how Joe's expression was like, well, so on the path to getting turned forward, we saw 2 main deck cards that are insane against you, and then you got turned forward.
Yep.
Well, I suppose that's onto the sideboard.
Yeah, Joe can't really take much from that one. He just got. He does have a number of answers, more so than most zombie players, at least as far as efficiency goes, thanks to Pillar of Flame and his Tragic Slip in the sideboard.
Yeah, well, Tragic Slip answers half of it. Doesn't answer the Knight of Glory.
Well, assuming you kill another guy. Like, you can turn 2 be able to kill, like, an Elite Inquisitor and a Knight of Glory. Something like that.
Well, you can't slip the Knight of Glory.
No, you can pillar it.
Oh, okay, so if you pillar it, sure.
Or actually, no, that doesn't count for Morbid, you're right.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, okay.
So, Tragic Slip's kind of awkward here.
I forgot about that one, that's fair.
Pillar's great. Sever the Bloodline is okay here. He has some ways to deal with it. Dreadbore is actually... I mean,
probably not.
Well, it deals with Elite Inquisitor.
It deals with Elite Inquisitor.
Elite Inquisitor. It's really the 4 Knight of Glory main deck that are just... The problem is that Joe is going to have to hope that Andrew does not have a Knight of Glory turn 2 in both of these 2 games.
Yeah.
And it's going to be harder.
I think for Joe, he's probably going to have to decide whether he wants to try and actually wrangle that board and kill those creatures, or if he just wants to try and race them. I think those are his decisions.
And I think for him, like, if I were playing it, I would just try to race. The reason I'm saying this is that it's not just... So say you get through the Elite Inquisitor and you get through the Knight of Glory. There are cards like Precinct Captain, which actually is also kind of a problem for you. That's first strike. There seems to me to be too many 2-drops in Andrew Shrout's deck that Joe just has to kill for him to reasonably kill all of them.
So for that reason, I think he'd probably bring in the Rakdoses here. He's got Rakdos, Lord of Riots in his sideboard. It's a large guy. It goes over the Inquisitors and the Knights.
Right. It's a demon, and the Inquisitor is not good against. It's good against werewolves, zombies, vampires, but it's got nothing on demons.
And 6 damage in the air, especially with Trample. Not much Andrew can do about that. He has War Falcon, but that's obviously not going to be much of a blocker. And he has Sublime Archangel, who comes down at the same time. The answer he does have that's pretty reasonable is Feeling of Dread, but I don't know if Joe can assume his opponent has that. It's kind of a tough card to put the read on, unless you have
unless you know that he has it.
Yeah. So I'd foresee Joe keeping in most of his burn spells and going with Rakdos, or he can board out a number of them and try to bring in some removal, but I don't think that plan's going to be that successful.
Right. The question then is what you'd board out. Probably like, I don't know, Falcon Wrath Aristocrat and Rakdos all at once seems like a lot.
Yeah, I think you have to get rid of the Aristocrats, to be honest. I don't think they're going to be that good.
Well, especially when your opponent has things like War Falcon.
Yeah. Even blocking an Aristocrat just once can be enough of a difference maker to make the card basically irrelevant.
Yeah. Blood Artist is still a little weaker than most cards. Blood Artist, we were talking earlier about how we felt like Blood Artist was a little bit weaker in this format due to the fact that they're really, the zombie decks can't control when things die as often. They don't have this combo, they don't have this mortar pod going on in them. I think here there will still be enough things dying to merit playing the Blood Artist.
I think one of the roles that Joe's creatures will actually have to shift to is occasionally getting bust under a Champion of the Parish or something like that. So that's going to be how those creatures die. That said, his creatures definitely look a lot worse than usual. In the deck tech I did with Joe, we described the creatures as generally functioning like burn spells attached to bodies. And in this matchup, there are much more bodies than burn spells.
Right.
Joe... probably discussing how bad the matchup seems for Joe.
It's like, well, I didn't know what you were playing, but you played Game 1 Knight of Glory into Elite Inquisitor, and I'm playing a black zombies deck.
Yeah. This is definitely a grim situation. Interestingly, Andrew didn't test much against zombies. He built this deck mostly on theory. He's a Moto player, so he didn't get to play a lot with it. He didn't get to play at all with it on Moto. He played a few practice games. But he said he didn't actually play any against zombies. He just assumed he was good.
That seems fair.
Seems pretty fair.
His main deck has plenty of cards that seem very good against zombies.
He also can bring in Bonds of Faith, which he noted he generally does. And I believe he has an additional Riders of Gavany in the sideboard to bring him up to 3.
Yes, he does have an additional Riders. I'm not sure how much I like... Yeah, Riders is probably pretty good here. It's probably better than Sublime Archangel.
Sure. Andrew described Sublime Archangel as being very good for him on the day. Generally, he killed the opponent when he played it, so it didn't even get to swing itself.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Sort of an Angelic Destiny replacement, I guess, for the archetype. I like it a lot better than Angelic Destiny, though.
So, both players still shuffling here. Now, when you talked to him earlier about Zach, how did he feel about War Falcon? That's probably one of the cards which is really, when you look at, probably one has the most explanation coming with it.
It's funny. He played White Blue Humans during the last format a little bit at the end. It was a deck on Moto for like a week or two where people started playing War Falcons when it came out. I saw the deck and, in fact, considered myself playing it at the Knoxville Classic because after playing against it and then trying it out a little, it seemed pretty reasonable, better than advertised, basically. So he really liked War Falcon. He thinks it's one of the better reasons to be playing the deck because it's just another 2-power 1-drop. The way Andrew said he constructed his deck was trying to match the zombies' curve on damage potential. So like where they can deal the damage, he can deal an equivalent amount of damage each time. War Falcon is part of that plan.
So you see Cackler and Champion starting off the game.
I'd rather have the Champion.
Oh, yes. I'd rather have whichever one's on the play.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
All right, Blood Crypt down, so we have 18-18. We're going to get a parade of 1-drops. Diagraph, Ghoul, and Tragic Slip. slip is very important there, as he didn't want to see like Knight of Glory come down to just completely neutralize his board. Knight of Glory, all right, so it's good. It would have been a 3-3 into pro-black guy. It would have been quite the jerk move. The biggest thing is, Knight of Glory, typically a sideboard card here. He's going to shock himself again and play Geralf's Messenger.
Sure.
He does have a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat in hand, no fourth land. Hands Aristocrat Cackler.
The Aristocrat is going to be one of his ways to get through a Knight of Glory, what with it being able to take to the air. And an alpha attack on the next turn also doesn't currently look so bad, since Messenger is getting through so much damage.
Right. Now he has to hope that Andrew Shrout doesn't play something like Elite Inquisitor. Shrout with the third land, all planes. He's going to make Champion of the Parish and followed up with a human, and it's Elite Inquisitor. All right. Well, out come the Hate Bears again. It has to be very demoralizing for a Zombies player.
That alpha attack looks way worse now.
Yes. So we are at 18-16 for Joe Bernal, and I believe 18 for Andrew Shrout.
That sounds correct.
And just Falcon Wrath Aristocrat swinging. Nothing else needing to swing. Nothing else wanting to swing, really.
Yeah.
You'd be suiciding your whole team. I don't know if it's time for that yet.
Currently, Joe's going to be a little bit ahead in the race if he attacks, but not by much. I'm unsure how he can consider not attacking here.
Well, if he would hope that he draws some sort of burn spell to burn a blocker, and then, to bait Andrew into attacking and then burn a blocker. The problem is that Elite Inquisitor has vigilance. That's not really.
Well, why wouldn't the Aristocrat just swing this turn?
Oh, why would Aristocrat not swing?
Yeah, he appears to be debating doing something. Maybe he's considering some sort of attack with that includes Messenger in an effort to get it dead, but he has an Aristocrat, so he doesn't really need to do that. Yeah, I agree with just swinging with Aristocrat here.
It's going to drop Andrew Shrout down to 14. So we have 14 and 16. 16 for Bernal, 14 for Andrew Shrout. Draw here. We have 12.
No, he is at 12.
Okay, I
think you may have missed the Messenger.
I did miss the Messenger.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So if Andrew can't wrangle that flyer, he might actually just die to it in a quick 3 turns here. He's not really racing it with the Elite Inquisitor, although the Vigilance is a help. He also has to consider that pretty much a lot of anything could make that clock a 2-turn clock, because with the Messenger on the board, Joe only needs 2 more damage.
Silverblade Paladin comes down. It's going to pair with...
I imagine the Inquisitor.
Elite Inquisitor?
Yeah. He may have indicated Knight of Glory. I mean, those cards, they're very similar here, but I figured the Elite Inquisitor can attack the safest anyway, right?
Right. Well,
Vigilance
is the only thing that can block it.
Cackler can't block anything.
That's true. So nothing can block it.
I guess we paired with Knight of Glory then.
So Knight of Glory swinging for 6 to drop Joe Bernal down to 10 life. Joe's draws Gravecrawler. It's like Gravecrawler and Rakdos Cackler. I do like that pairing with Knight of Glory a little more, because now Joe could play on a regular Cackler to chump an Elite Inquisitor.
That's fair.
But it couldn't do that with Rakdos Cackler, with the Cackler. So Andrew really does have Joe on a 2-turn clock, and Joe has no way to interact with that at the moment. I think Joe's play is to play his whole hand, swing Aristocrat.
Sure.
And hope he draws something that helps turn this. Right now the numbers are against him, but he can't change that.
Well, on the next turn, he may also be able to attack for lethal thanks to these additional creatures.
Right, so that's why you just
as long as Andrew doesn't have another creature of his own, he won't be able to muster enough blocks.
Gravecrawler.
And will we unleash or no?
Cackler.
No unleash. I don't think I like the no unleash, because now when he alpha attacks, that Cackler is not lethal anymore.
Right. I would agree. Because he's going to have his opponent at 6 on end step. And so if Andrew blocks the 4 biggest things, Andrew can let the Cackler and Aristocrat through and go to 1 because Joe did not unleash. Yeah, that's actually, I really don't like that play.
I agree. I think that Joe has put himself on a lot fewer outs as a result of that choice.
At the end of this round's twist, in about 30 minutes, we will be closing our segments for the evening. If you're interested in jumping in the $10 draft, we have
Andrew, calmly having Sublime Archangel.
tank, kill you.
I'd really like to just name drop Sublime Archangel.
Precinct Captain. It looks like Andrew's going to take the play that just gives him the most blockers. His Feeling of Dread. Is he trying to kill him right now?
So if he taps Messenger and untapped Cackler, and non-unleashed Cackler, Bernal's just dead here.
Well, he has a Diregraph Ghoul still, but is that not enough?
The Diregraph,
is
the Diregraph up off the top of the screen? Oh, so he's tapping
right
Diregraph.
He's tapping Diregraph? Okay.
So he's leaving Joe with one blocker. And the one blocker would certainly block a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's exactly.
Yep.
That should get him. And Andrew has countered this too. He's swinging for 14, and Joe Bernal only has one blocker.
Precinct Captain as a +1/+1 counter there. Battle Growth.
Yeah.
Joe's double checking all this math. He also thinks he's dead. He can only block one creature, and that creature is certainly going to be Champion or Silverblade Paladin, which is the same difference, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. Worth noting is like if Joe had Unleashed here, we would also notice that then he would have been dead just to a single human.
Sure.
So it's possible that like non-unleashing.
Well, if his opponent has Feeling of Dread, he's dead to a single human.
No, because well, if his opponent had Feeling of Dread, he would have been dead.
I think Feeling of Dread just kills him here pretty much like close to 100% of the time. Like even if it doesn't kill in this turn, it shuts down the Aristocrat from attacking next turn, and that's basically the same as being dead. Without the Aristocrat, there's no way Joe could possibly get through lethal with virtually any combination of draws, right? I can't think of any.
Alright, he swings everything. Yeah, this is a swing for 14. 4-4-4-2. He can block a 4 and
dead to Xaxes twice.
I mean, I would say dead to Inquisitor Knight of Glory.
That's fair to say.
All right, Andrew Shrout making short work of Joe Bernal, and Andrew Shrout the first deck into the top 8.
Yeah, it's worth noting that despite how horrendous this matchup seemed, Joe was like still playing some magic there with the deck. Like obviously he needed some very specific things to happen in general, but just being able to burn the opponent out, having so much reach in the deck, he definitely threatened Andrew.
Right. So Joe Bernal dropping to 6-1, gonna have to probably win out from here in the last 2 rounds. A quick matchup.